Internet friends. Welcome to another episode of the Synergy Cafe online show, featuring speaker, entertainer, close-up illusionist, and marketing alchemist, Magic Brad. It's the Internet lifestyle show about career, finance, relationships, spirituality, and wellness. We're moving the online chatter over to real-life activity. And now, please welcome your host of Synergy Cafe, Magic Brad.
Hey Internet friends, Magic Brad here, Synergy Cafe and the Synergy Collaborative, and I've got another guest on today, and I'm not sure where he's from, but we'll find out. He's probably originally from his mother, I'll bet. Don Harris. Don, you there?
Yes, I am. I don't know that my mother would admit that, but yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, come on now. Motherly love, it just happens. So where are you from? I mean, what part of town?
I'm located in Pie Town, New Mexico. That's
Okay.
south and west of Albuquerque. We're out in the middle of the wilderness. We're like everybody identifies civilization with Walmart. They want to know, how far are you from Walmart?
Okay.
Well, we're 90 miles from Walmart.
I ask, how far can I get from Walmart? How's that?
Yeah.
Oh, no, we won't say that. That's mean. Okay, so if you've seen some of the interviews that I do, what we do is we just do this to find out who you are and get to know, like, and trust you. And first question is, who are you? You married? You got kids? You got pets? You like to go fishing? Who are you?
Well, mostly my life is just consumed with my occupation of choice, which turns it into an avocation, I guess. I'm a preacher. I'm literally the voice in the wilderness. So, yeah, I'm a preacher. I'm a radio host, and I do radio and television, internet radio and television from here, and we have some terrestrial stations and such, but mostly, I've just got a message. It just kind of burns a hole in my heart, and I just gotta get it out. So,
Okay, but about you though, you married and you got kids, or?
I have been married. Yeah, I did that twice now.
Okay.
So
Experienced.
Yeah, I've got my share of failures in my life. I think it makes me not uniquely, but necessarily qualified to find some answers in life.
They say what don't kill you will make you stronger, right?
Well, yeah, if you've got the character, otherwise, you're dead meat. And so
roadkill.
The thing with me was my disappointment with religion in general is, I've been a Christian, if whatever people call that now. But I have done that since I was 7 years old. My father was a preacher. I was raised in the church, and you can only experience so much failure, so much unanswered prayer, so much illogical doctrine. So you can only, if you're going to use your brain, you can only experience so much of that before it comes to you, something's wrong here, and so I set out to find out what it was. And I laid all that out in the little book that you're probably familiar with called Think Red Ink, and it was how I essentially straightened my life out by thinking red ink. Now that has nothing to do with Wall Street.
Okay, I was going to ask, what's the red ink mean?
Yeah,
blood.
But in Bibles for the last 150 years. Some Bibles called red letter edition Bibles take the words of Christ and put them in red. And it is that red ink that I became fascinated with, because this guy Jesus in the Bible, I'm finding out he wouldn't fit in most church congregations. He doesn't fit in the church world. He doesn't fit into their doctrinal statements. He just doesn't fit. And I was just fascinated as to why. Set out to find out.
Well, that's interesting you bring that up, because we'll learn more about what you're all about. I was just talking with a guy last night. We were talking about Jesus and religion and things of that sort. Yeah. And he was sort of wondering, well, who is this Jesus guy? I don't know if I believe this Bible thing. Right. I thought, well, maybe he was just really in tune and he could resonate properly so that when he walked on the water, he didn't weigh much, so he didn't sink. Maybe he was just tuned in. And the guy he started thinking, then, well, okay, that makes sense.
the, the idea of Jesus has perplexed people for many years, and they've added to him. I think for the most part, religion adds to him this element of divinity, to which I think he has lawful right to ascribe, but it's not the divinity that we put on him. That he is this, he was this, this is Jesus. I really don't think people know him very well at all. What is that? That's just the standard preacher line, isn't it? I mean, you go to church and they either tell you that you're lost or you're lost and you think you're saved, and that's their whole line. And frankly, I really got tired of that, and I just set up. Well, to tell you the truth, I was headed straight toward atheism. I mean, I was headed just as fast and as hard as I could go. And there was something in me that would not allow me to believe that there is nothing. That's the thing that got me. There is something.
Got it. And
could it be that we got it wrong? Could it be that we renamed these things? We give God a name, we give Jesus a name, we give him all this doctrinal liturgy that he has to ascribe to, and we allow him in our life. We even say that you need to accept Jesus. You know what I found out was my main goal is for him to accept me, not for me to accept him. And so I set out to find out how that happens. And lo and behold, it's just as clear as it can be. It's right there in the scriptures, but there's a catch. You got to be willing to commit blasphemy to get there. You have to be able to speak against the church and religion, and even, I know people won't understand this. They will over time, and you can't do this in 10 minutes. But there comes a time when a man has to speak against the attributions that we have put onto the Bible as this authoritative book. I found that a concept in the scriptures that is essentially unknown, that the Bible never refers to itself as the Word of God. And I don't care where you go. If you say Word of God this, Word of God that, Word of God, what do people think you're talking about? Well, if you're talking to a Christian, you're talking about the Bible. Mm-hmm. If you're talking to a Muslim, you're talking about the Quran, Quran. And when you're talking to a Jew, you're talking about the Tanakh or the Torah.
Right. Different parts of the same giant elephant.
See, this was the thing that was just breaking my heart, is I realized that what the Bible talks about, when it talks about the Word of God, this is this divine creator being speaking to his people, something that he's really not allowed to do. So we have all become what's called, the Muslims, I think, are the ones that coined the phrase, but the Jews have adopted it, and now I see the Christians adopting it, calling themselves people of the book. And I'm realizing that when you have something written on paper, it naturally needs something to interpret it. It's like a radio signal without a transistor radio to pick it up. Mm-hmm. You have to have this particular item, and that particular item is a human being to take the words and interpret them and apply and understand them. Well, there's a basic problem with that. We're not capable of doing that. And I think that 40,000 Christian Protestant denominations, this is just a section of Christianity, 40,000 denominations, all claiming to be based upon the very same book. I think it bespeaks that problem perfectly.
Well, we've got into a lot of what you do in
Going
this.
on and on. I warned you I was a preacher. Go ahead.
Well, we want to get more into how you do your work, but I think what you do is you broadcast your work just like you're doing
Yeah.
now. And this topic is a big one, so we could do
Oh,
a series of these.
it's
So
inexhaustible.
I'd like to get more into
Sure.
before we run out how to get a hold of your book and
Hmm?
all that kind of stuff, and also
Sure.
some more personal stuff of like you. When do you do your works? Are you more of an AM person or a PM person? How do you go about doing what you do?
Well, I am I'm a morning person. It's very, very common for me to go to sleep before the sun's down.
Sounds like
But
me.
yeah, and my radio show is 6 a.m. Mountain Time, and all of the information I'm telling you can be found at thinkredink.com. And the book that I referred to is the last and latest one called Think Red Ink. Now, this is a you can get this book at Amazon. Just you can get it there.
You want to hold up the
Uh,
cover again? I didn't see it.
oh, you want me to frame it?
Well, so I can see it.
How's that?
There we go.
Think Red Ink. There we
Got
go.
it.
Um,
So we know it when we
the
see it.
you can get the book at any online type of bookstore or even in your own bookstore if you ask for it. But they will charge you for it. And one thing about our ministry that's a little different than others is that we never ever charge anybody ever for anything ever. and and so if somebody wants this and they go to thinkredink.com, there's a click there that you can say I'd like to have the book, and we send them out. As a matter of fact, I got a 10th anniversary on a book that I wrote years ago. Um, uh, Called The Questions of Jesus. And when we were writing the foreword to the anniversary edition, I was saying this book is unique in that, we've been publishing this book for 10 years and never, ever sold a copy.
Okay, so it's
It doesn't
available.
sound-
It's available at thinkredink.com, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Well, I don't like doing
Uh,
these too long and take too much time. We're running over 10 minutes, so I'm going to pull this
Oh,
thing together and beam it up to YouTube and propagate it out to the world. But I'd like to do some more of these because there's a wealth of separate topics and things like that, and I think we resonate along the same line. As far as the
yeah.
atheism thing, I think we all kind of started there. And I used to be
Yeah.
online on AOL and have arguments about atheism. They'd tell me there's no such thing as God, and I said, then what are we talking about?
Yeah, all right. Right.
So I think
What a
there's
great
some other
question.
there's some other things that we could probably discuss.
Yeah.
So Don, I appreciate you taking the time this morning. If you want to stick on, we'll talk a
Okay.
little bit further. But I'm going to wrap this up and appreciate people watching Synergy Cafe, and I will put this up to the universe, and you guys can find it. So peace, love, and
Thank
happiness. This is Magic Brad signing off. Thank you very much, Don.
thank you, Brad.